Well, I finally just got to see Michael Moore's new documentary, Fahrenheit 11/9, and as you might expect from the poster, it's going to be him bashing at Trump and right-wing America, so on and so forth. But it's actually a little bit more than that. I will go on in detail and explain a little bit further as he discusses how things turned out the way people voted for Trump simply because they thought that Hillary was kind of out of touch with mainstream society and America itself. And he also goes on to talk about the water crisis that's going on in Flint, Michigan, and the teachers' pay strikes that have been going on in states like West Virginia and Oklahoma. And he also talks about the March for Our Lives campaign that was fined for gun control after the horrific massacre at Stoneman Douglas High School. All these are very interesting talking points, and he even goes on to explain a few other more topics as well, but those are the main issues that are being discussed here, and I have to be honest with you, it is quite effective, and it's pretty darkly satirical, it's executed well, and he kind of knows what he's talking about to some degree, especially with the sort of disconnect between, as he would say, the left-wing establishment versus people who are real left trying to compete in enclosed cronyist type of system and trying to compete with right-wing America. I'm not to come revealing my politics, but as you can tell, because I saw a Michael Moore movie, you probably are thinking I'm some sort of lefty. Well, it's a little more complicated than that. I will say and admit, though, that Jill Stein was kind of my favorite in the 2016 election over Trump, Hillary, and even Gary Johnson. And I even done myself a documentary about voting in the US 2016 election. I called it My Second Vote Movie. Worst election ever. Hashtag. And if you like Fahrenheit 11/9 or one of the recent political documentaries that I've tapered onto this sort of issues going on right now with, more or less Donald Trump's America, you have to be more like that documentary. It's very funny, very satirical, but unfortunately, I don't show my face. I didn't have the budget to put as much as I want or get as much views or cinema count as that, but you live and you learn. Hopefully by the 2024, it'll definitely expand even further. As far as criticisms are concerned with the sequel to Fahrenheit 9/11, it did really mention about Harvey Weinstein, because he was the creepy old bloke that financed a lot of Michael Moore's movies when he was still with the Weinstein Company. So his name wasn't mentioned, but we did get to see a list of sexual predators that were mentioned throughout the media and how they lost their jobs, including Trump himself, who didn't lose his job, but he did do inappropriate things to his daughter, as it's presumed. And I don't think he mentioned a lot about the Charlottesville protests and riots. It was hinted at some news footage and racial disparities, but he didn't go quite in much detail as I would have thought. But he did talk a lot about some of the more key issues that are more personal, like the gun control issue, which harkens back to what he did with Bowling for Columbine, and then the water on Flint, Michigan is pretty much a throwback to what he done on Roger and Me. So in many ways, it's kind of those two films mixed with Fahrenheit 9/11 in that it's taking aim at Trump instead of Bush, but it also takes aim at Obama and Hillary as well. So it kind of evens the field a little bit. If you're thinking this is just going to be some sort of commie movie, I'm going to watch this, it's going to be propaganda, son. But, depending on how you think of it, you definitely won't pay tickets to go see it. But I did, simply because, like it or not, he's one of my favorite filmmakers. He was one of my first introductions to the documentary genre. Along with Morgan Spurlock, who's now a creep and lost his entire career simply for admitting that he was sexually harassing a woman at university. So now I only have Michael Moore to turn to. I would say, it's pretty much, one of the year's best films. Because it's a documentary, it'd be a bit hard to classify and, where to locate it, but I'm sure it'll find a place one way or another. I know it definitely won't be as low as Ant-Man and the Wasp, but as high as Isle of Dogs and First Purge and some of the others, that remains to be seen.